Hebrews, Israelites, and Jewish people are the same people. Israel, a name that God gave to Jacob, one of the patriots of the Israelites. Exodus, the biblical word describing the Israelites' escape from Egypt and slavery. Exodus is also the title of a book from the Old Testament, the Bible. Hebrews, the language spoken by the Israelites, another name for the Jewish people. Moses, son of a Hebrew Israelite woman who was rescued by and raised by the Pharaoh's daughter. Eventually he fulfilled God's wish that he led the Hebrews out of Egypt. Midian, a desert region where Moses escaped to after he killed an Egyptian who was beating a Hebrew slave, a shepherd. Moses occupation when he was in Midian. Zipporah, Moses' wife. Yahweh, name for God meaning I am, considered so holy that the Israelites did not even use it. Canaan, land of milk and honey, that promised land where God wanted the Israelites to resettle after leaving Egypt. Aaron, Moses' brother. The 10 plagues, disasters and catastrophes that God set upon Egypt in order to convince the Pharaoh to release the Israelites from slavery. The 10 plagues symbolize the struggle between the Pharaoh and God. Plagues, major disasters or catastrophes. The 10th plague, the final plague, caused the death of the firstborn. The lives of the Israelites' firstborn were spared. Even the Pharaoh's firstborn son was killed. Passover, also known as the event, God's passing over the families of the Israelites as he claimed the lives of the Egyptian firstborn. Passover, religious holiday, annual an annual religious holiday when Jews remember how God spared the lives of the ancestors as he brought them out of slavery. Seder, a special Passover feast that includes the same foods that Israelites ate on the night of the first Passover. How was Jacob's family treated when they first entered Egypt? The Egyptians treated Jacob's family as honored guests when they first arrived in Egypt. They were given the best land in a fertile area in northern Egypt. How did life change for the Israelites in Egypt? At first, the Israelites lived in safety and comfort. They prospered and grew in number. Fearing them as a threat, a new Pharaoh forced them into slavery. What new command did the Pharaoh give that harmed the Israelites? Noticing that despite the hardships he forced on them, the Israelites, also known as the Hebrews, still grew in number. The Pharaoh decided that all newly born sons of the Israelites must be killed. Who appeared to Moses as a burning bush? It was God. What did God request? What did God request that Moses do? God commanded that Moses returns to Egypt and leads the Hebrews out of slavery. That was the chapter 8. Now I'm gonna read chapter 9 right now. The chapter 9 review. Mount Sinai, a mountain peak in the rocky part of the Sinai Peninsula where Moses led the Israelites after leaving Egypt. It was where God reminded Moses that the Israelites were God's people, where God presented the Ten Commandments to Moses, a miracle, an extraordinary event that is beyond human power and brought upon God manna, a sweet bread-like food that tasted like honey and fell from the desert shrubs. It was sent by God to feed the Israelites during their journey. The Ten Commandments, laws of God's covenant given to Moses on Mount Sinai. Covenant, an agreement between God and his people. The, the significance of the number 40. 40 is a symbolic number in the Bible. Noah spent 40 days and nights on the ark. Moses prayed for 40 days and nights after the covenant with God was sealed. The Israelites' journey to the promised land took 40 years in the New Testament. Jesus spent 40 days in the desert after his baptism. The significance of the number 12. There were 12 pillars in the stone altar that Moses built after receiving the Ten Commandments. There were 12 tribes of Israel, one for each of Jacob's 12 sons in the New Testament. Jesus had 12 apostles. The New Covenant, offered by Jesus at the Last Supper and sealed with his blood. Jesus offered his own son, his own life, not his own son, his own life to save us and free us from sin. The dwelling place. What the Israelites built to keep God always near them. It included a meeting tent, which was God's place, the Ark of the Covenant, and several altars. The Ark of the Covenant, a wooden box in which the Ten Commandments were kept. False god, an idol, what the Israelites built and wrongly worshipped in place of God. The Book of Numbers, the Old Testament book that tells the story of the Israelites' 40-year journey to Canaan, the promised land, plains of the Moab. It's the area east of Canaan where the Israelites met the prophet Balaam, a prophet who predicted greatness for Israel. Joshua, one of Moses' trusted generals who Moses took to name as the leader who led the Israelites into Canaan. How did God demonstrate his faithfulness to his people on their journey to Mount Sinai? God demonstrated his faithfulness to his people by watching over them and working miracles on their behalf. For example, he provided food and water when they complained that they were hungry or thirsty. Why did the people need the Ten Commandments? God's people needed the Ten Commandments to know how they could keep their covenant relationship with God. And how was God's presence made known to his people during the journey to the promised land? It was God made his presence known to the Israelites by the huge cloud that hung over the dwelling place during the day. At night the cloud became fiery so the Israelites could see it. Okay. That's the end of this episode of me studying for my religion test. Thank you all for watching this video. If you like this video, please click the like button, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, click the subscribe button on my channel, and tell me what you thought of me studying for my test in the comment section below, and also tell me how you think I'm gonna do on the test in the comments below. Tell me how you think I'm gonna do in the comments below. Well, anyways, that's all for now. This is me, Lennox Lee, saying goodbye. Stay tuned for the next episode, and I'll see you then.